Diary, it's Emily. It snowed all last night. I was shivering. My cat is losing fur. And they're taking down buildings here every day on the street. The old buildings, because they don't want anyone to live in the old rundown buildings. People bust in through the boarded up buildings, and they live there and they squat them. So now the government is just tearing down the buildings, and District 42 just has every day apartments are being demolished. People are living on the street in tents. I don't know what we're gonna do. If we can't pay our rent, they're gonna kick us out, and you're not allowed to live on the street. So they're rounding up people and taking them out of here. It's just, what are we gonna do? I talked to Glenn and said, could I practice riding around on the drone? I didn't tell him that I had plans to meet Liam in District 11 today at the park. I was gonna meet my boyfriend. I missed him. I have nothing to live for in District 42. Even if I was on that side and I was shot, at least I'd be shot in my boyfriend's arm than being here in District 42, dying alone, hungry and cold. So I put on my best top, my best jeans, and I walked over to Glenn's house. Their house was an apartment building. They've been there for a long time. So they were surviving on all their network of friends and Singing Joe's help from the underground market, bringing everyone food and water. But you had to help Singing Joe back with something. You had to have value. We all had to have value here. Had to help each other. So Glenn said, I had to be careful. And I said I would. So Glenn walked me down the streets, and he showed me a place where I could practice behind some buildings where the sun was real dark and the clouds were real thick, so that the RoboCops couldn't see me practicing. So it's real important. I suspected he knew what I was doing. I knew he knew I wasn't just practicing. But Glenn, he was like me. We were romantics. We felt like we had nothing to live for. The only thing to live for was doing things that were important to us. And ever since I saw Liam, it made me want to live. Before, I just was thinking of ways that I could take my life, in my life. That's all I was thinking about in my apartment alone. Walking George gave me a sense of purpose. But there's loneliness in your heart when you're alone in a situation like this. You need love. It's like you can have all the air and the water and the food, but your heart and your soul, it needs love. We're more than just a walking body that eats and drinks. People have a mind and a heart. We wouldn't have had this desire for love unless that's important. So Glenn said, I only have an hour. I said, okay. He said, if you don't come back, he would be gone. And whatever happens, he didn't want to know. Because if I was caught anywhere else but here, the RoboCops would get me and they would take me in. And you probably wouldn't hear from me. So I said, okay. So I held onto the drone. Glenn turned the switch on. I started going up in the air, and my feet started leaving the ground. I held on tight. I went up and up and up. 1 story, 2 stories, 3 stories over the building, over the rooftop, into the thick, dark clouds. It was cold up here, and the wind blew, and I had to hold on tight. And Glenn sent the drone in the direction of District 11. And he dropped me off at the park. Up ahead, I saw the park, I saw the grass. I was up over the fence. District 11 was coming. I see it. The beautiful place. The beautiful white snow, not black snow like we have here. Like a frozen winter wonderland. Like the stories I read in the White Witch. Oh, it was so beautiful. It was like beautiful white palaces, all frozen snow. Like the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. The beautiful winter wonderland where all the princesses and queens lived in beautiful mansions. And there it was, the frozen grounds of the park. And so I landed. And then I changed to an outfit that I thought would be great to see my boyfriend in. It felt pretty. I was excited to see him. And so I walked up ahead. There were some people walking their dogs. But they looked like they were the workers. Just worker people. Dog walkers. No one paid anyone attention. So I just looked ahead. Everyone had their mask on. The workers had their mask on. So I walked ahead. And there at a picnic table, there was Liam. He was so handsome. I could see him from afar. He was so tall. He was over 6 foot. And so I walked over to him. And he had a picnic basket. He had lunch. He had food. I didn't even think about food. I was so excited to see him. I walked over there. And Liam hugged me. And he said he was so happy that I met him today. And he said that he was just happy to be in the park with someone to talk to. That everyone he talks to was just, scientists and politicians. And it was so nice to talk to someone about just life and being free and just a companion. And we ate, or he had chicken sandwiches. He had deli eggs. My chicken sandwich was fried chicken. It was so delicious. There was coleslaw. There was French fries. I can't remember the last time I had French fries with ketchup. Oh, it was so delicious. And he had hot coffee. And he had clean water. I was like basically scarfing my food when I realized that Jaffa told me, don't let them see that you're hungry. These white rich women, these rich people over here, they don't eat a lot because they have food all the time. So Liam looked at me and I said, oh, this is my favorite. And he smiled and we laughed. We had such a good time. And we went for a walk and we walked down the street. It was kind of slushy and I almost fell, and he grabbed me and he held me with his strong arms. And then we kissed. And it was like fireworks went off. So many fireworks went out. It felt so beautiful and so right. I felt warm inside. My heart fluttered. I was just missing him so much, and it felt so good. And we kissed. His kiss was delicious and inviting. And he kissed me. His arms are so strong. I could feel his heart racing. He could probably feel my heart racing. Our bodies next to each other kissing. And then someone walked by, and then we broke, and then we just started walking. And then I realized it was time to get back. And then I said, I've got to go. And he said, what? And I just left him there, and I ran away. And I ran off as fast as I could. I had to get to the drone. I couldn't be caught here. I couldn't risk Liam harboring someone from District 42. It'd be his life plus my life. He'd have to be held accountable for why I was here. So I ran. I left him there. Once again, I was like Cinderella, rushing off before I would be caught by one of the police officers or the cops. And there was a helicopter circling up ahead. And I just ran and ran. I didn't care. I just ran. And there was a RoboCop. And it was walking. and just patrolling. But I didn't care too much that I was in District 11 and what I was doing. I guess everyone here would get a pass. So I ran, and I saw the drone starting to take off, and I had to jump. I had to jump to catch it, and I missed. The drone was taking off. I'd be stuck here. So I ran on a park bench, and I jumped up, and I caught the drone, and I was hanging on one arm, and I had to put the other hand, and the drone went up further and further, and I had to reach my other hand, my right hand, and then I finally caught the drone, and I was on, and it was going up further and further above the houses, and it was heading towards District Gate 11, and it went up over the gate, and I made it, and I headed back to my District 42. I didn't want to go back, but I knew I had to. I had to go back. I felt it was worth it. One kiss. It was worth everything to kiss Liam, to be with him. As I headed back to District 42, I saw cops below, and I heard the helicopters flying, and their lights and spotlights were searching. Halt! Who goes there? They caught on to me. There was some firing. Oh no! They see me. I hope I made it back to the ground. I had to get back to the old abandoned parking lot. And the all slow drone. It was like so slow. And the cops were chasing something. And they were chasing me. I'd be caught. I'd be shot. And they started shooting fire. And there was bullets that swung past me and went past me. This could be my last day on Earth. It could be my last day. I'd be caught and maybe destroy the whole mission if they found out that we had drones that could fly into District 11. I risked everything. Singing Joe and Joff and Jarman. What would they do if I ruined their whole operation? So the drone went further and further and closer to the building and started lowering and lowering. And I jumped down, and Glenn was there. He said, "Hurry, the cops were here. We had to hurry." And then Ardell was waiting in the cab, and we rushed in the cab. And Ardell closed the door and started driving. He said, "What was I doing? I said, "Nothing. He goes, "You were doing something. I said, "No, I wasn't." He said, "Come clean." And I said, I went to District 11. I wanted to see my boyfriend. And Ardell was so upset, and Glenn was upset. They said, "You can't do this. You're risking our whole operation to get us out of here." And that I couldn't do it. And I was crying. I betrayed my only friends in District 42. And if they told Singing Joe and Joff and Jaimin, what would they do? I said, "I was sorry." And Ardell dropped me off at my house. And I walked into my house. My cat was purring. She was waiting for me. And I told her I betrayed my friends. She just purred. She was getting skinny. I don't know how much time she had. But I had to see Liam. Life by yourself. Daily. It's just hard. Being alone. Lonely every day. Being waiting to get kicked out on the street. And they would sweep you if you're out on the streets. They sweep the people that are living in the tents on the street. And then they're destroying the buildings. Just one kiss. That's all I wanted. One kiss. I would have to be strong now. I'd have to forget about Liam for now. I would have to help my friends and let them know that they can trust me.